You would never have seen this or this if it weren't for this camera that's attached to my rig right now. This is the Tactacam FTS system. This is an action camera. This is our 5.0. It's actually recording right now. And you can think of this a lot like a GoPro camera that's just been reconfigured to work with guns a lot better. GoPros have been able to handle recoil really well in the past for me, but because they're blocky and just kind of a funky shape, they don't really fit on rifles very well. So as you can see, this has a tubular shape to it. It's like a big, thick lipstick camera. And this, in this case with this FTS system, can attach to this sort of periscope thing, and it'll actually see what I'm seeing through the scope. That's how I was able to do those hunts and then bring the footage back to you. A lot of time I'd have to set up another camera, but you could actually see what was happening with my reticle. So what I have right here, 100 yards away, I have a silhouette target, and I've got this camera running. And let's see what this looks like. I just got some 145 grain full metal jacket, 350 Legend. So that was down at 3x. There's 1x. Let's crank this puppy up. Okay, here we are up at about 6x. All right, right through the heart. The scope you're looking through today is the US Optics TS8X. This is an FFP reticle, as you were able to see, so you can see the reticle zooming out, zooming in. And this is one that I actually have taken out deer hunting successfully. A lot of people don't think of these LPVOs as being that great for deer hunting, but they actually do work, especially because they have such a low magnification. If you know you're going to be dealing with close range animals, it really works. Let's talk about the camera a little bit. Right now, I've still got it recording. It has very simple buttons that are pretty easy to use with gloves on. Another thing that they've really taken into account with this, you get just two big buttons. One of these is to power it on and to set it to record. It has a little blinking green light if it's recording. And then it has a mode button back here. So this is how you can jump between 3 different main modes. One of them is just going to be regular record like we're doing right now. One of them is going to be a zoom mode, so you can actually zoom the camera in digitally, so you can kind of get up close and personal with something. Because remember, this camera can be attached in multiple different ways. Right now we have it going through that FTS periscope, but if we were to attach it to a shotgun, maybe out on the forend somewhere, there actually are mounts that you can put on a rail or some other part of your gun, and you can have this just kind of pointing forward. So it'll just track along with what you're doing. So if you do that zoom, you may be able to get a little bit closer in on an animal that you're hunting. I think that'd be great for duck hunting. The third mode is going to be slow-mo, and this is one that I don't think I've ever actually used, so I think we should do that. The mode light changes colors to let you know what you're doing. All right, so now I've got it in slow-mo. Yes, and it is recording. There's quite a bit of dispersion today. But you can see exactly what happened before I pulled the trigger, which is one of the important things. Before it broke, you can see if I was twitching around or doing whatever, that should show it up pretty clearly. Now the camera itself seems a little basic when you're looking at it like that. You just have the 2 buttons and a couple of modes, but it's actually much more powerful than that. Once you couple this with some kind of smartphone, this is actually a wireless transceiver. This is a Wi-Fi transceiver. This will show up as a Wi-Fi device on your phone or tablet or whatever, and it will send its image back to whatever kind of tablet or phone that you have. So that way you can actually keep an eye, like maybe a partner could spot for you and kind of be watching through your scope at the same time, or watching through the camera. You can also access all of its different functions through that. There are a whole bunch of power functions, like being able to set what kind of frame rate you want or resolution. These can handle 4K video if you want to get really high res. I have it in HD right now so that I can especially run some of the high speed stuff. So this can get really in depth. And one of the things I should point out is if you're out in the woods and you don't want to have blinking lights around, you can actually go into a blackout mode. You just press this button back here, or you can use the phone again and you can switch into blackout and it'll turn all these lights off. One of the nice things about this is that it's really lightweight. It's even lighter weight than a GoPro is. The battery seems to run for a good long time. It's a decent size. And yeah, just overall, it's not going to add so much weight to your gun that you're going to really notice. The battery indicator you see right here shows us that we have about 50% life left, and this will turn off when we turn the camera off. So to do that, I'm just going to press and hold the power button. It's going to buzz at me, and then it's going to switch off. So you can see that that's gone. Now don't be fooled. This is still running some background processes. So if you have charged up these batteries before you head out, I recommend that you don't actually put the battery in yet. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the back cap right here so you can kind of see what's going on inside. Alright, so there is the micro SD card. That's how it slots in. There is an HDMI mini attachment right there, so you can attach this to your TV. There is for USB. That's going to be the way that you charge it. And then this is the battery that you just pull out right here. So like I said, I do recommend that you pull this out. Don't let it actually touch the leads on the inside. Maybe you could have it hanging out like this, or just have it not installed at all. But yeah, once it does connect, then it's going to turn on some functions in there waiting for a remote signal. So if you don't want to end up with a dead battery like I did on my first couple outings, make sure that's disconnected. A couple of oddities that I need to point out. Okay, first off, the way that this attaches to the scope is that you're going to have scopes with different ocular bells. And so to attach to that, you have this kind of clamp back here and a bunch of arbors in different sizes to fit different types of scopes. So if you have some really huge tactical scope, you can use one of these thin rings. It's kind of a shim material. And then we have ones that get thicker and thicker, so you can get down to maybe even putting it on one of those little Crossman scopes. It's not always easy to attach this to a scope, so I'll talk you through some of the weirdness. First off, this is going to favor some of your lower magnification scopes. This has a prism built right back in here that helps to split the light to your eye and then bounce things back to the camera. And this, since it is kind of an angled thing, it can get a little bit funky if you have a high magnification scope. I've made it work, and I'll show you some of the footage here. But it is a little bit tricky. Sometimes you may need to take just a little bit of paper or something and shim the side in order to shift it just a little bit. The first unit that I got actually had a problem inherent on the inside, so the prism was shifted off just a little bit and I was only getting about half the image. If that happens, just contact Tactacam and they'll hook you up with a new unit. But then once you do get kind of a full image by moving this back and forth, maybe moving the camera in and out, because remember that we do have eye relief that we have to deal with. There's going to be kind of an optimal point for where the light is going to bounce and get into the camera so you can get that full image. Once you get that figured out, you're going to need to set your horizon as well. You don't want the reticle upside down, you don't want it canted off at some weird angle, and that's why you really do need to use a phone or some other kind of smart device so that you can watch through the scope, see what's going on, and turn this into the right position so you can get everything right up and down. And hopefully in this video, this stayed for me. I've had this on since my last unsuccessful deer hunt, but that's actually what I recommend for you guys. This is something that you can use to show yourself, kind of keep a record of the most exciting part of the hunt, not just, collecting the animal afterward, but a lot of that is just that moment of seeing the animal and getting on target and pulling the trigger. You can keep that forever on your hard drives. You can share it with your friends, and I think that really is the essence of this, being able to show other people what kind of exciting things you've been up to with your rifle. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. Make sure that you check out the Social Regressive and check out the Tactacam online, see what kind of prices they're dealing with. I'll see you all around. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, the Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the destructive arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.